Glad you said that, because my pronunciation is pretty terrible. And big game here.
We stick with the top seed, the world number one, Magnus Carlsen for now. He is up against a bit of a giant slayer, Rinat Jumabayev. He was the long-time number one in Kazakhstan, very strong grandmaster. He specializes in taking down top players. He can also maybe suffer from a bit of inconsistency himself, but just in Title Tuesday alone, he's beaten some real top seeds. So this is not going to be easy for Magnus. It's the Catalan opening, and Magnus putting his knight on c6, bishop on d6, everything we're taught not to do as kids, but this is a bit of a trendy variation these days.
Yeah, and you can see, well, both over 3,000 ratings, so anything possible. Black trying to break in the center there, but white keeping it under control, and this is a real challenge, this game, for both players.
Yeah, Magnus tends to not experiment too much with openings once he realizes he's up against someone super strong, someone he can respect. And okay, interesting.
Is that why he played the Dutch against me?
That's a good opening, Simon. That's the best opening out there.
It is a great opening, I agree. But yes, he knows how strong his opponent is here, and pretty sensible position.
Yeah, he's been inspired by you. He's first playing the Dutch, now growing some interesting facial hair.
I like the way you said that. Interesting facial hair. David Howe quote of the year.
I'll save my thoughts for when I next see him in person. But,
I mean, who do you think his inspiration is for that moustache? I mean, have you ever tried? I reckon it would suit you, David. Why don't you grow a little, like, whatever kind of moustache that is?
I've tried. Mine tends to be a bit more wispy, and I totally know what Magnus is going through, though. Sometimes between chess tournaments, you're at home, you're in
midlife
hibernation
crisis.
mode. I'm not saying that. Between tournaments, you sometimes don't. You don't go out too much. Why shave? It's the last thing on your priority list.
Yeah, I haven't done that for at least 20 years. And this position, I mean, it looks like white should be a little bit better because, okay, Magnus has to create counterplay, and he does this by pushing that pawn forwards. But that open file, which white's put a rook on, it looks pretty juicy for white, that one.
It really does. I can imagine a rook landing at some point later on the 7th rank and causing some trouble. For now, everything is covered. No entry squares yet. But Jumabayev is hinting now that he might even jump in with his knight, try to trap this bishop.
Yeah, and I don't think Magnus is happy with his position. Maybe he has to play f4, but then he's kind of committed to sort of going all in on the king side. But, sometimes you have to do this. I mean, if you're in trouble, and that knight jump you pointed out, so he has played it, looks very strong at some point. So I think, it's a kind of all-in position now for Magnus.
Ooh, Magnus is saying that too, I think.
And we've had some tech issues. Just normal stuff.
Oh. Okay, it looked like Magnus was saying, I'm going all in, but no, it was tech issues.
Tech issues.
life stuff.
Do you say tash issues or tech issues? I wasn't sure.
We'll ask him afterwards.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, that was the main reason for f4, as you said, Simon. Not just because you're a dangerous Dutch player, but just to get the bishop out from behind the pawn chain.
Yeah, and even though white may be better here, it's the kind of position you probably enjoy playing more with black because your moves are quite natural. You just go towards white's king, you develop. The black knight might have a great square coming up in the center, and those pawns, they do look a little bit scary, right? Coming right down the board.
Yeah, this is where the trend starts to turn, and we've seen that in Jumabayev's clock time. He was actually up against Magnus by a few seconds just a few moves ago. Suddenly Magnus looking much more confident, comfortable, and the eval bar agreeing that it's turned in black's favor. I'm not sure whether you can push any pawns yet. You might even be able to hit the white knight on the other side of the board. I'm not sure if white's knight is really going to go pawn hunting. How would you improve here? It looks like a great attacking foundation, Simon.
Yeah, I might even try pushing the H pawn, but I kind of do that a little bit too much. Just to try to soften up white's king a little bit more. Maybe move the queen out of the way of the rook is another idea. So bring it behind the bishop. Then that loses a pawn, unfortunately, here, so I can't do that. And my rook on the side of the board, I don't know. I'd like to bring that back maybe. But okay, he goes for your idea, this aggressive push to misplace white's knight. And white goes pawn up.
Okay, did Magnus miss that one?
He kind of missed that one.
But we are not the same. I maintain that. Even though I'm making a better and better case that we are with my moves.
Okay, Magnus talking about maybe some rivalries there. Not sure. It's interesting, Simon, because your instincts told you h5 or queen maybe over to g5. Attacking moves. Those were the top two according to the computer. Those two moves you mentioned. Magnus going a different way.
There you go.
Advantage gone.
Yeah. It's kind of all in position I love playing, but I've never played this move. This is the kind of move I would just not be able to play. I'm attacking my opponent. What do? I exchange queens off. Why? Why is he doing that? What's going on?
Because his name's Magnus Carlsen, the greatest endgame player of all time.
Fair enough. So, and this is a good move from white because that black pawn was threatening to come forwards, but I still wouldn't exchange queens here because now the white king should be basically totally safe after the exchange of queens, and it wasn't before.
Yeah, Magnus is temporarily a pawn down as well. The idea was that the white knight was a bit offside, maybe the a2 pawn would have dropped, but everything's held together now by Jumabayev. The computer still says slightly better for black, but I don't know, if he doesn't find anything in the next few moves, Magnus, now it's turning already. Better for white, pawn up, starting the kickback of the opponent's pieces.
Yeah, and you know, there's that weak pawn in the middle of the board of blacks as well. White might be able to get his rooks maneuvering. The one thing in Magnus's favour is that space advantage on the king side, and white's king side is a little bit cramped. This is a very committal last move from white because it makes some big holes, but it's a forcing move. I guess white just wants to take that pawn in the middle of the board, so the knight comes in with a check.
Yeah, and wow, he dodges it, Jumabayev. He didn't want to part with his great defender, the bishop, but now Magnus has a decision. Does he move his rook somewhere? Does he take this rook off the board?
I'd love to move the rook to the side and just push my g pawn is one idea, or maybe move my bishop to g4. Try to checkmate the white king, even though the queens are off the board. That looks tempting. And he's moved his rook over. Two ideas that Magnus has: use the pawn in front of his king to come down and increase the firepower against white's king, or maybe use the bishop to come in. And at some point, white might have to play bishop takes knight, but that looks pretty grim, right? So Magnus right back in it now.
Yeah, big attack. An attack without queens is something that Magnus really enjoys doing. Nice to see that our viewers at home, as we see at the top of our screen, enjoying Magnus's choices both on and off the board today. And in the meantime, yeah, I mean, I could also imagine the other black rook coming and joining the fray. He has taken the knight. That looks so scary. Magnus gets a check, wins back the pawn. It's level material, but the white king does not look long for this world.
Yeah, that's a really nice move. He wants to put the bishop into that square. And also, you can win a pawn in the center. Just rook takes pawn. The white pieces are not coordinating well. The white knight is now sidetracked on the side, and look how strong Magnus's bishop has become. So, really, really nice middle game play from the best player in the world. Unsurprisingly, really.
Yeah, it did look a bit shaky for a while, but getting the queens off the board, it just tends to be the point where he starts turning on the magic, Magnus, and oh, Harry the h-pawn is coming.
Oh, yeah.
That white rook is almost trapped. Well, it would be trapped now if the pawn lands.
Yes, and the last move, very slow move from white. And Magnus just saying, I've got all the time in the world. He moves his king, and I would have to... Oh, crafty. Ooh. And a little bit of a celebration there, David, from Magnus.
Let's listen in. Okay, Magnus. We missed the celebration, but we saw